Alright, ladies and gentlemen, today we're gonna look at the Creative Royale Island, and we're gonna look at a few things that you might have missed in the last updates, or in general, that you didn't even know existed. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. For number one, we have a secret setting that I got asked quite a bit about if this even exists in the game. And that is the actual winning end screen of BR. If you leave all the settings as they are, you get the normal creative one, which obviously has a lot more options, but doesn't really feel the same as the BR winning. So there actually is a secret setting where you can enable the BR winning screen, and all you have to do for that is actually go into your My Island settings. So you're gonna go over here, you're gonna click on the My Island if that is not already selected, and you go to UI. And then if you scroll all the way down, you can see down here they're setting post game type, and if you now move this to BR, you're gonna get the actual BR end screen. The reason why probably a lot of people didn't even notice that this setting exists, because it only exists in the Creative Royale and not the normal creative. And then as you can see, if you win the game, you can see that the actual ending screen pops up, and it's actually as simple as that. You even get the stats technically, but that is basically all you have to do to enable the Victory Royale end screen. For the next one, there's actually something super important which got added to Creative Royale, which I think a lot of you guys didn't even notice. But Creative Royale not only got the melee manager, so that obviously now means that you can now create custom melee guns, but the more important thing, it got the health power up, which basically now allows you to create all kinds of cool things and giving and taking people's health. You can basically now create even more custom bosses, challenges, and anything with that, because you now can actually just use the health consumables here and decrease, increase, or add shield, do not add shield. You do not even have to use a super overcomplicated system where you're going to use the class designers, which in my case, for example, I use this for the Fortnite education map that I'm working right now on. If you do activities in the BR Island, for example, opening chests will give you a quiz question, and if you answer correctly or not, then you will get either health or you get health reduced. For example, what is the capital of Spain? Obviously it's Barcelona, right? We all know that. So we're gonna press A, and oh, it was wrong, so we get minus 50 health. You can see how that can really create some really custom and unique things, which were not possible before. So I personally think that is something super underrated and super cool, that we can now actually give and take health with this just one device, and we do not have to use some overcomplicated system. Okay, so one thing which I quickly want to squeeze in here between two, it's not really one that I would count exactly. These things now actually have like the flying things. You can technically create that in Creative anyways, you don't really need that. But however, you can technically copy these and bring them to the Creative normal islands, which doesn't actually work. So you can see that the picture down there is grayed out, and if you try to move this to an actual Creative Island, it doesn't work. So don't even try that, it's just a waste of time. You will not be able to copy any of these into the normal Creative Islands. Alright, so the next thing is something that is an add-on to one video which I did on the custom chests. So you know that you can create custom chests. I have a full video on that, you can watch that if you really want to. However, a lot of people were confused how you can get the weapons to actually drop in the chests, or if it's actually possible to drop them into the chests. Well, there's a little trick which you can use in the item grinder, which you're going to use mainly to create the custom chests here. But in this device, there's an option which you might have overlooked, and that is drop items at player location. This is what I use to make the feeling of the items actually dropping out of the chest instead of just dropping into the inventory of the player. So it feels a little bit more like you actually have custom chests. And that is basically all about that. The tutorial still stands. You can still use the tutorial. You can still create custom chests. One other thing which I saw is for the, I think, Switch and mobile players. They basically had the problem where they did not have the chests open, but it was containers open. But that should be the same options. The chest open counts for also the ammo boxes and anything that is basically a chest in that sense. So anything that you open will count as a chest in here. So even if you open ammo boxes, that will count. I think that is the same for the Switch version. It just is named containers for whatever reason. And last but not least, you can technically also create live events in Fortnite Creative Royale. And basically the only thing that you need to create an actual live event is the real-time clock. So the real-time clock, for whatever reason, is twice in this game now. I don't know why. Actually a pretty cool device, which I don't think a lot of people know how to use properly. However, it works just fine, and you can create live events. All you have to do for that is, first of all, set up a time where you want to have the live event started. So how this will work in this device is you can basically leave everything on default if you just want to set it like that. For whatever reason, the device year is set to the year 2021 when the device was obviously released. But you have to set that first of all to the current year, which is 2022, because we are creating a real-time clock. We have 2022. Then we have right now November, so that is the 11th month. we have the, I think 27 is today, and still nothing happened. Because the time of my recording is 12:27. So that means we have the hour 12 and we have the minute. If I do that, still nothing will happen because the clock is obviously looking for the time to tick it down. But since we have minute 27 anyways, we have to go up a little bit so we can actually have a countdown which actually goes down. And now we can actually see that we have a countdown where the device clicks down, and then we can technically send signals from this device. Even more confusing that the device is set to GMT. So if you go to advanced here and then you look at the time zone, the only time zone that I currently can select is GMT. I'm not sure if that is for other countries as well. But for Europeans, this should be on GMT, which is not my time, but it is like a time that is above me 1 hour. So I even have to like calculate the time as well. So you have to be very precise here and have to check twice or triple which time you actually have to enter here to make the countdown work. So that's probably the reason why this device is not used too much, or I haven't seen it too much. But overall, I think it's a very cool device, especially if you want to create like community events and say like, hey, in like this minute, everything goes down. Even though the events that you can create on the BR Island are pretty boring right now because we do not have too much which you can do. You, for example, could spawn like hundreds of supply drops or give everybody a very cool weapon. But the device works and it is actually a really cool way. I really wish that the device would also show it on the island. But for example, you find a solution where you link this up to the timer and then the timer obviously displays in game, which is really cool then, and then you can create your own custom live events. But yes, the real-time clock works and you can actually use it to create events. Which I personally think is really cool and really underrated in Fortnite Creative. That wraps it up. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Hopefully you learned something. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys back in the next one.